Has your 2026 been a dud so far? Have you already given up on your New Year's resolution? This year has barely begun, but are you already losing steam on your dreams? Have you failed to start everything you set out to do this year because you've already started procrastinating them? It's alright, there's always 2027, right? Wrong. I'm here to show you why you have not failed your goals, and this may actually be what you needed to accomplish them. I'm Victoria. I'm a board certified behavior analyst, and I'm here to show you why now is the perfect time to set out and accomplish your goals this year. First, let's talk about why your goals are already failing you. Most likely, your goals are too large or too vague to even know how to get started. What you are probably doing wrong is using your end outcome as your goal that you are chasing instead of building the behaviors that it takes to reach that end outcome. For example, if your end outcome is to lose 10 pounds, you need to go in and think about the behaviors that you can change in yourself to accomplish that goal. Tracking what you're eating, going to the gym 5 times a week, walking 10,000 steps a day. Those are all steps that you can take to accomplish the outcome that you are seeking. Those are behaviors that you can modify and change to reach your goal. This is so important because it is more than just chasing an outcome. You are building the foundation to reach your goals. As much as we would all just like to snap our fingers and reach our goals, accomplish everything that we want to, we have to put in the work, and you have to be able to define the work that you need to do to reach those goals. So, let's say one of your New Year's resolutions is to dress better. That's a fantastic New Year's resolution. What would that entail? Organizing your closet so that it's easy to access the clothes that you need, defining your style and being more selective of the pieces that go into your closet, curating what you have available, choosing your outfits the day before instead of rushing in the morning to pick out a nice outfit. Those are all things that you can do, steps you can take to overall improve your style. So once you define all the behaviors that can go into reaching your outcome that you want to accomplish, you need to start small. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds, start by walking 10,000 steps a day. Once you can consistently do that and it doesn't take as much mental effort, then you start tracking your food. And by that, I mean just start tracking, not going into a calorie deficit, just start tracking your food intake. You would not believe the power that simply tracking your behaviors has on holding yourself accountable. Self management is a very effective tool. So, simply starting by seeing how much you're regularly eating, get really good and consistent at tracking those things before you move into a calorie deficit. Then, once you have that, you're walking 10,000 steps a day, you're monitoring what you eat, you may or may not choose to move into a calorie deficit. Then you start going to the gym. Maybe you start 2 times a week. Maybe you start 1 time a week and maybe do a home workout one of those days. You really have to find what works for you. But you want to make that first step easy. Success should feel stupidly easy at first. It's going to keep you motivated to keep going. There's a concept called behavioral momentum, and that is simply the act of accomplishing a small task rewards you and keeps you motivated to do harder and harder tasks. Let's say your goal this year was to journal every day. Start by just making yourself journal 1 minute a day. Then you bump it up to 5 minutes. Then you bump it up to 10 minutes. The same could be said with the gym. You start going to the gym once a week for 30 minutes, then twice a week for 30 minutes, then twice a week for an hour, or 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Whatever you move up to, it's going to be what works best for you. The next step is to build reinforcement systems into your goals. And this is going to look different for everybody. For some people, things like a token board or where you track everything that you do is going to work the best for you, and it's going to keep you motivated. You're going to see that streak and you're going to keep going because you want to keep that streak going. For others, it may be that once a month you don't track food at all. And that is your reinforcement for working hard and tracking food every single day that month. Now, for some people, that could be really beneficial to relieve that stress of not tracking. But for some people, they may use that as an excuse to go wild and eat everything because they're not tracking that day. And that's not the goal here. The goal is to find the reinforcement system that's going to work to help you achieve your goals. If not tracking one day leads to you binging out and eating everything in sight, or not wearing your step tracker one day leads to you only taking 1,000 steps that day, those are not ways to reinforce the behaviors you want to see. They will be unsuccessful for you to accomplish your goals. That's where you really, really need to find a reinforcement system that's going to work best for you. And reinforcement is most potent when it is delivered immediately after. Maybe at the beginning of the year, every single time you go to the gym, you reward yourself with a little treat. That's totally fine. Maybe on the way from the gym, you stop at the little bakery and get the cookie that you love. And you have that as a reward for going to the gym and prioritizing those things. Then maybe you space it out. Maybe the second month, instead of every single time you go to the gym, you stop and get a cookie, you wait, and once a week, if you go to the gym 3 days a week or whatever that goal may be, then you stop at the little bakery and get a cookie. And then maybe you move it to once a month. Maybe you pick something different to reinforce yourself instead of a little cookie. And the hard thing is that you may not get it right the first time. You may not find a system to reinforce your behaviors that works. And that's okay. You have to keep looking at it, keep trying, and figure out what is going to work the best for you to reinforce the behaviors that you want to accomplish. Your next step is to think about your environment and engineer your environment for success. Now, this can look completely different for a lot of people. Like I mentioned with dressing better, changing your environment to make it easy to select the clothes that you want, laying your clothes out for the next day to set yourself up for success and make it easy. If you're someone who likes to work out in the morning, maybe it's easier to lay your workout clothes right next to your bed. So you wake up and immediately you roll into your workout clothes. Maybe something that you're working on is getting out of bed without scrolling your phone for way too long until you're running late. Maybe altering your environment would be setting an alarm, moving it as far away from your bed as possible so you have to get up and that's what wakes you up. Keeping your phone charged in another room, locking your phone from those apps that get you sucked in and doom scrolling in the morning. Another one is if you're trying to eat better, set yourself up for success. Prepare meals so that when you are hungry, you have something to reach for, something good and nutritious, that you are not scrambling for something last minute when you're hungry, because nobody makes good decisions when they're hungry. Make it so easy to do the behaviors that you want to increase and make it more difficult to do the behaviors that you want to decrease. Set yourself up for success. If you want to journal more, put your journal right in a place that you will see it and use it every single day. Altering your environment is so critical because it's going to be so beneficial for you when you lack motivation. When you lack motivation or you rely solely on motivation and willpower to get you through and accomplish these goals, it's going to be so much harder. But when you alter your environment to make success easier, it's going to be harder to come up with those excuses when your stuff's already laid out for you. It's going to be harder to come up with an excuse to order takeout if you have meals prepped in the fridge. It's going to be harder to come up with an excuse to wear sweatpants again for the 50th day because you have an outfit already picked out. It's going to be harder for you to doom scroll every morning because your phone is going to be somewhere completely different. And instead, you're going to want to do the things that you need to do to get ready for in the morning. Alter your environment so that it is easier to accomplish your goals. Your next step is to track one thing. Now, we talked about tracking your calories or setting up a streak. Track how many steps you take in a day, times you go to the gym a week. Track how long you journal. It really can be anything. The number of pages you read, the number of workouts you did, the number of steps you took in a day, the number of meals you prepped in a week. Just track one metric. There are many apps that allow you to track streaks for your own habits. Use those. And lastly, you want to revisit your failures. If something isn't working, you need to look at it and troubleshoot what could be the reason that this is not successful for me. It could be that you're moving too fast and you need to scale back and start with just one step at a time. It could be that you are not ready for a calorie deficit and just tracking your food is hard enough for you to mentally put your energy towards. It could be that your reinforcement isn't strong enough and you're waiting for those chiseled abs to reinforce all the behaviors that you're trying to do, when instead you should set stuff out to immediately reinforce your behaviors that you are trying to increase. Is the behavior too big? Is the reinforcement not strong enough? Is the environment that you've set up making it harder or not making it easy enough? Is there some other competing contingency that's making it so much harder to accomplish your goals? The point where you stop looking at these as failures and start looking at them as a way to learn what works best for you and how you can accomplish what you want. There are probably a million ways to accomplish a goal, and you just found out a way that does not work for you. And that's huge and going to be so beneficial for you in the long run. So let's wrap this up. Think about why your goals may have been failing you before in the past. Define behaviors, not the outcomes. The behaviors are the things that you can control, that you can do, the steps that you can take to work towards the outcomes that you desire. Make your first behaviors so easy and so small that you cannot fail. It will keep you motivated to keep going. Build your reinforcement systems. Find out what's going to work for you and put it in place. Remember, the more immediate your reinforcement is, the more powerful it will be. Remember to engineer your environment. Set yourself up for success. Make the behavior so easy to do that you cannot fail. Don't forget to track one thing, just one thing. Just track one metric. It can be anything. You can use a sticker chart, a token board, a streak. You can just make a mental note or write it down in your phone. You have to track it in some way. And lastly, you need to look at what isn't working, reevaluate, and keep going. Try something new. Troubleshoot what's going on. Why isn't this working? Maybe it's the environment, maybe it's the reinforcement, maybe it's the behavior itself. Look at it and figure out what you can do differently and just keep going. Don't use it as an excuse to stop. Learn from your mistakes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. This is one of my first videos, maybe my first, and I would really appreciate it if you could let me know what you think. comment what goals you are trying to accomplish in 2026. If this motivated you to maybe reevaluate how you're going to accomplish your goals, let me know in the comments. I would love, love, love to hear more. And if you would like help on accomplishing your goals or want to know more, please let me know. I would love to get some ideas going on how we can best explore more of the things that you want to see and work on. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new today. Remember that we learn new things every single day, and growth is the application of what we learned. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.